Hey booktubers, this is a response video for Jaret at IReadBooks about book condition. And I don't know, I do of course like my books in pristine condition. However, I think because I collect a lot of different kinds of books, I have antique books, I have leather-bound books, books that I've gotten from book closeout type places. I just thought I would respond to his video with some different things that maybe you might consider things more tolerable, things I've let go. So here goes a shot at some of the things that I have, okay? Okay, some things that irritate me. For example, here is a fairly new book that I just received. And it is a new book, but one thing that irritates me is markings. When they put a mark on the book, of course, you're getting the book at a cheaper price, but it, for some reason, just irritates me when they mark up a book like that. This one here is also brand new, but they marked it at the bottom. So, you know, you're paying either half the price or whatever, but why they decide to mark the book, I guess collectors who collect the books and pay full price, I don't know. I guess if they're going to sell it at a cheaper price, why do they have to mark it? They don't do that kind of thing for other merchandise. Why do they do that with books? Here's the same thing with this. It's a brand new book. I can't imagine, I couldn't work in a place where I had to stand there with a marker and mark a book that's in perfect condition. I just couldn't do it. So that is a peeve of mine. Obviously, I'm not going to send the books back, but what I am going to check for in the future, I think, is I guess I would rather pay a higher price for the book than have this done to it. So that's just my feeling on it. If you can't buy the book like at full price, like a hardcover from Amazon anymore, I consider that an older book, books that are out of print. Like this one, for example, all right, is an introduction to Aristotle. This is a modern library book. And as you can see, there's a little bit of a problem here at the bottom of the dust jacket. This person has done a very good job of putting on the plastic cover over that book. So I'm going to be doing this. I know Karen doesn't like it at OCD of Books, but really it does protect that dust jacket. So for years down the road, for example, if somebody, you don't know 30 or 40 years down the road if someone's going to want a copy of a young adult book that you have today, and they might want to have that dust jacket in good condition. So they didn't have these plastic covers back. Let me see, this book was actually published in 1947. So over the years, the dust jacket's been torn up. Well, some very good collector, when I actually ordered this book, covered this. So now these types of things are going to be protected. So I agree with things like that. Here's one. I believe this is a first edition of The Trees by Conrad Richter, who is a very, very famous author. As you can see, it has tears in the cover. It's torn up here at the top. There's the back of it, by the way. This book was published in 1940, and as you can see, they did the decal edge even back then. It has that distressed decal edge to it. But the jacket is in pretty bad condition. Here's the book without the jacket, for example. Although it is very nice as far as the book without the jacket, it isn't worth as much without the jacket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this book back up I'm going to put the plastic covering on this so there isn't any further damage to the dust jacket because it is an antique book. The inside is not in great condition, as you can see, but 1940, that was what, 50 years ago now? No, 60, 70 years ago now. So, but the actual book binding and everything is in really pretty good condition. There's not a lot of yellowing to the pages. Obviously, there's some, but the actual book itself is in good condition. The jacket is what's not good. So, just thought I'd go over a little bit about antique and older books and what is tolerated and what isn't tolerated. My thoughts on paperbacks. If you want a book that's going to last, if you want a book that's going to stay in good condition, buy the hardcover. Paperback books, this is a mass market paperback from just 10 years ago. This is 1999. As you can see, I don't know if you can see that in here, but the pages are already starting to yellow around the edges. Most paperbacks, especially the mass markets, are not printed on acid-free paper. And this is what causes that yellowing and foxing to occur in the books. So if you are looking at older books, most likely a hardcover is going to stand up better. It's printed in acid-free paper, most of the newer things are, and it's going to resist the yellowing. The yellowing is not only by age, but it can also be by the sun. Like my bookcases back there in the back are probably exposed to too much light, and that's going to cause even the dust jackets to start to yellow. And even probably in some of my leather-bound books too, especially the cloth-bound books that you can see right about there. Those are all cloth-bound. The spines are facing out, and over time that will probably fade a little bit. So there's some thoughts on paperbacks. Some of the higher quality paperbacks, which I don't have one here in front of me, that aren't what they call mass market, probably will last a little bit longer. But they're going to start fraying on the edges and doing all that kind of thing. So there's just some thoughts on paperback versus hard. Here is an example of a book. This is from 1963. This is the Heritage Press. And the Heritage Press came in these, I guess you would call them slip covers, would be the best way to think about it. And there's my cat. Slip covers are books that you can see have a hard cover on the outside of them. It's really hard to see in this, but this is kind of torn up, and a little bit down here at the bottom you can see where it's worn. But this book is from 1963, and I wanted, this one came in 3 volumes. This is volume 1. The book itself is all cloth bound and is in beautiful, beautiful condition because of this hard slipcase that it was in. So, I mean, it's actually in just gorgeous, gorgeous condition on the inside and everything. This is the difference between quality books and even today's hardcovers. So, as you can see, if I can pull this very, very quickly, it is the Heritage Press, as you can see there. And there is the publishing date at the bottom. So I just wanted to go over a little bit about what these hard slip cases can do to protect a book. And I will purchase books where the slipcase does have some issues with it, because I know that the book inside is probably in very good condition. Sometimes the spines will yellow from the sun, as I had mentioned before. Here is a leather-bound book that I got from Easton Press, and I get these, I have several subscriptions going on, but anyway, this is one of the 100 greatest books ever written. And as you can see on here, there is a little crease or a wrinkle. Boy, it's really, really hard to see, but you can see it kind of right there. And this goes all the way through. See the gilding on it. You can see this marking right here across the bottom, which sort of ruined the gilding on the outside of it. And that actually must have been something in production, because several of these pages have this little wrinkle on it down in this corner down here. There you can see it right there. See how it goes across there? Now, you know, these are fairly expensive books. They're leather bound. They're beautifully embossed. So what do I do with this? Do I send this back because I want an absolutely perfect book? And you can see a little bit of it kind of there. Well, what's going to happen is, as I read this book, you know, some of the gilding, some of this gilding is going to wear off. Sometimes it wears off from the back here a little bit. So eventually it's going to become used, and it isn't going to look absolutely beautifully brand new like it sort of does right now, other than this little defect. So I am not going to send this back. That's a decision that I have made. So these books cost a lot of money to produce, and it would just be a waste for them to throw this book out. I just can't, I don't know, I can't imagine throwing it out because of a defect like that. So yeah, sometimes I do accept even the more expensive books with a few flaws. Now, if that was really, really bad, where that crinkle was terrible and this was just super scratched up, I probably would send it back. But sometimes I do tolerate, even with these more expensive books, some flaws.